Hey Lifer Tribe, welcome to another Vlogmas episode, Living Life with your girl Stae. And if you are new to the channel, welcome, and thank you so much for tuning in today. And if you could, please consider hitting that subscribe button and becoming a permanent part of the Lifer Tribe. Now, I know y'all probably tired of seeing me in this sweatsuit, but a couple of these videos have been the same day. So, you know, it is what it is. I'm not wearing the same thing every day. Not that I would never do that, but no, it is the same day. But we're about to make some lasagna, y'all. This is like my grandmother's recipe on my dad's side. She made the best lasagna, and I've watched her make the lasagna when I was little, so I don't literally have like a written recipe, but I got a lot of this from her, and then of course adding my own little spin. And with us trying to get all of our carbs and not the healthiest eating out the way, I'm like, you know what? Before I hit the ground running in January, getting this body snatched, I want some of my grandmama lasagna. So that was a tongue twister, some of my grandmama lasagna. So I am going to make some lasagna, and I thought y'all might like to watch. So yeah, let's get into it. So first thing is first, I just have some water on the stove with garlic. That's what y'all see in the bottom of the pan. The pan's not dirty, that's garlic. And then floating is some basil and oregano and just a little bit of olive oil. And so we're going to bring this to a boil, and then I will add my lasagna noodles. But in the meantime, we're gonna get this meat together, so hold tight. Okay, so this pan is already, let me turn on some light, y'all know I'll be forgetting. This pan is already preheated, so I'm just gonna add a little bit of olive oil, not much, just the teeniest bit, just so that the meat doesn't stick as soon as it hits the pan. And then I'm going to do a combination of 4 different meats. So we have mild Italian sausage, sweet Italian sausage, or 90-10 ground beef, and some pepperoni, and we're gonna cook that all in this pan. So we're gonna start with our 90-10 ground beef, and we have our fire on medium, and just start kind of mincing our meat. And I just put the teeniest bit of olive oil because the 90-10 does not have much fat in it at all, so it will kind of stick to a hot pan. And I use the 90-10 specifically for this because the sausage is going to have enough fat in it, so you don't want the meat super greasy, so I don't want too much fat. So now I'm going to incorporate my sweet Italian sausage. Y'all, my phone has been blowing up today. Busy. I told y'all I've been working on the conference all day. And we're going to do the same thing. I'll get this going. Just kind of mince it up as small as you want. You don't want super huge chunks because it is lasagna. And then we are going to add our mild Italian sausage. And this is a pound of each. So we got 3 pounds of meat. And I just kind of like to break the meat up a little bit when I put it in and kind of put it throughout just to make it a little easier. And so what I am going to do now is actually put a lid on here because I like to steam the meat a little more than like frying it, if that makes sense. So when you put the lid on, it kind of lets the heat circulate throughout. so that the meat's just not cooking more on the bottom where it's directly on the pan. So let me grab the lid for this. Oops. Dropping stuff. All right, put this lid on and I will pick y'all back up. Okay, so our water is boiling and our meat is just about done. And so I'm gonna start putting these lasagna noodles into the water. I kind of do them one by one just because they're so big and I don't want to break them in half, so they kind of start to soften as you put them in the water, so then that way, you know what I mean, they're fully submersed. And I don't know if you need to do them crisscross, but y'all can see I just kind of crisscross them as I'm putting them in to make a pretty little star. And I never pay attention to how many I need, so I always end up having too many. I just put them in here kind of until I can't fit anymore. And I always have some left over. I hate to waste, but I always forget to count. So that's that for that. And then with the meat, it's nice and brown. And I don't have to season this too much because y'all know the sausage already has a good bit of flavor and seasoning to it, and this is mostly sausage. Other people might use more ground beef. Y'all know I'm not a chef. These aren't any written recipes, so you can always make it your own. But I am just going to put a little of the basil and oregano in here. I'm not going to add any type of salt because sausage already has enough salt. In my opinion. You do you, boo. Y'all know we dealing with the pressure over here. So that was the basil. And here we have the oregano. And then if you just have regular Italian seasoning, whatever, you can do that. And now we are going to add our pepperoni. Oh, and I forgot garlic, so we're going to add some garlic too. But, you know, pepperoni is already fully cooked. You know, you can eat it right out the pack. So that's why I don't add it until last. We just kind of want to. And then I'm not going to use the whole bag because we're also going to layer some pepperoni. So just mix these in. And then let me grab the garlic. You can never have too much garlic when you are making an Italian dish. So we just gonna plop, and yes, I said plop, some garlic in here. And of course you can use fresh garlic if you want to mince it yourself. But the refrigerated garlic in the jar does the trick for me. I like to work smarter, not harder. So there's our garlic. And just get this all mixed in. And if you want to cut your pepperoni into smaller pieces, you can do that. I've done that in the past. But you can also just put it in whole. And just make sure you have enough, so it'll be equally distributed. And now we are going to add our marinara sauce, spaghetti sauce. What's the difference, y'all, between marinara and spaghetti sauce? I don't know. Oops, what did I do with the sauce? So we have two different sauces. This one is roasted garlic. You can use any brand, any flavor. I wouldn't suggest using like the chunkier ones with the big chunks of vegetables, but that would probably be really good in a veggie lasagna though, or an eggplant lasagna. But in a meat lasagna, it would be fine if that's what you like. I just don't tend to use it in mine. But we're just gonna mix this all together. Let me bring y'all a little closer. Whoops. Get everything in here. And then the second jar of sauce, I'm only gonna put half because I'm also going to use some of this when I'm layering. So I'm just going to use half of this jar, and this flavor is tomato, basil, garlic. Because you also don't want your lasagna too soupy either, because you want it to, you know, stick together so that you have those nice pretty slices. And lasagna, with just like a lot of pasta dishes with sauce, is always better the second day, but I never think about making it a day ahead. So that's that. Add a little bit more Italian seasoning, basil and oregano. And some people add sugar to their pastas, whatever. I know that's a great debate on social media. Like, does sugar belong in spaghetti? Does sugar belong in grits? To me, it's to each his own. You know, I ain't about judging nobody or telling nobody how to do nothing. And what I also do a lot when I'm making pasta is whatever utensil I'm using to mix my sauce and my meat, I usually use it and stir my noodles around a little bit so they don't stick, but you get some of that flavoring from the sauce in the water. And so yeah, I'm just gonna kind of let this simmer a little while to really let the sauce get into the meat. And then once the noodles are done and strained, we will start our layering process. So I'll be back in a second. All right, y'all, so we are all set to start building our lasagna. Our meat is done, the lasagna noodles are done, and hopefully I have all the ingredients out here that we need to build our lasagna. And if not, I will just go to the refrigerator and pick them up. So the first thing I do is put a thin layer of our sauce on the bottom of the pan or the dish, just, you know, to keep it from the noodles from sticking or whatever, and just kind of smear that around. And I just use it the same way you would, like, you know, butter or oil or cooking spray or whatever. And just spread that around the pan. And then the next thing I do is we're gonna start layering our noodles. And I've already drained them or strained them for the most part. Left a little water in there so they don't get sticky. And they're still hot. And you just want to cover the entire, stay hot, y'all, bottom of your dish. And I get them as close together as I can. It just makes it easier for when you're serving your lasagna. So it looks like 3 will be good across there. And then we're going to put our first layer of meat and sauce on top of the noodles. And what I'm going to do is I make this layer of meat kind of thin, because the lasagna is all about the cheese, and I'm using Parmesan, mozzarella, and the Italian blend. And so I'm gonna just use all 3 in every layer. So that's a little of the Parmesan. Then we're gonna go to the Italian blend. I'm sorry, that was mozzarella. The Italian blend, and now the Parmesan. And this is just in between. Oops, this doesn't want to open. Hold on, let me grab my kitchen shears. This bag did not want to open. All right, there we go. Parmesan. And this is just in between this little thin layer of meat. So before I add another layer of noodles, I'm going to put a little bit more meat on top of here. And I don't have to cover it all the way because this is really one layer. I just want to make sure that there's cheese all the way through. Because Wallace loves Italian food and he loves cheese. So, as you can see, it's not like completely covered. Because then I'm going to fill in the holes with some ricotta. And the ricotta is like almost like a sour cream, but a little stiffer. And I just kind of fill in the holes and spread it like I'm making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. But it doesn't have to be throughout the entire layer, but just enough so that it will be like in every slice of lasagna, if that makes sense. I'll show y'all. Whoops. So there we have our ricotta on top. So now we are going to continue to build with another layer of noodles. And this one I'm going to kind of overlap the noodles a little bit because we have a lot of noodles, so why not? And this will be the last time we put noodles, because this dish isn't deep enough to make the lasagna many more layers. And I noticed when I do these like cook with me or type of instructional videos, I start to lower my voice at some points, and I think it's just because I'm thinking while I'm talking, because when we just doing regular vlogs, I don't be doing a whole lot of thinking, I just be talking. When I tell y'all these noodles are still hot in this water. But keeping them warm and in the water keeps them pliable because they will dry out quick. So I just put 4 across and then, whoops, 1 at the end. And so we are going to do the same thing and add our meat. And this time it's going to be the rest of our meat. So this lasagna has 3 pounds of meat, ground beef and sausage, and pepperoni, which we will add to this layer as well on top of the cheese, just, you know, just because we can. So make sure you get your meat covering all of your noodles, because you don't want your noodles exposed because they will get hard when you put it in the oven, which some people don't mind crisp pasta, you know, when it's some sort of bake. But, and I already have my oven preheating at 400, and we're gonna put the lasagna in with the garlic bread because the lasagna really doesn't need to cook. We're just melting that top layer of cheese. So I'm going to, oh, got a little more meat, we ain't gonna waste. Look how pretty that is. So pretty. And so now we are going to, I'm gonna start with the ricotta this time because I'm gonna put the pepperoni on top of some of the ricotta. So it's not directly just on top of the meat because there's already pepperoni in the meat. And I just like to make these little smears all around. Wallace is in there watching something with Shannon Sharp and Kurt Franklin, evidently. They real funny. He's supposed to be working. He's in his office. I don't know what kind of work that is, but he's been cracking up. And then he keep trying to call me in there to look at stuff. And I really am working. Ain't nobody got time for that. He's like, it's funny. I ain't got time for funny right now. I told y'all I'm not a comedy person. All right, so we have that, the ricotta on there, and then we're going to, I think my pepperoni are still over here. I'm just gonna put some of the pepperoni on top of the ricotta. And that's why I said you don't need to add, in my opinion, any type of salty seasoning, because between the sausage and the pepperoni, you know, it's already gonna be plenty of salt. And for our side with this, I'm just gonna throw together a quick Caesar salad, but I did get some anchovies that I'm sure will only be in my Caesar salad because Wallace and Honey are not gonna want any parts of that. But I just decided, why not? So we have a pepperoni on our there's room for one more. Always room for one more. Pepperoni. And then we are going to add our cheeses again. And we are not going to be skimpy on the cheese. Parmesan. I have not made a lasagna in probably a year or more. So I'm so glad that I thought about it and had a taste for it. And I'm one of those people, I don't know if y'all are like this, but a lot of stuff that I like, I only like mine or like, you know, my family's or whatever. I've never liked the lasagna that I've gotten at a restaurant. Not enough to like order it again. This is the Italian style. And then we will close it out with our mozzarella. And then this is gonna go in the oven for I don't know how long until your cheese is nice and melted. I'll see if I can time it so I can let y'all know at the end of the video how long it is in there. And then you want to make sure you have something to protect your oven whenever you're making this stuff with sauces because it may bubble over. So we have it all cheesy. There we go. And this is going to go in the oven. So there we have it, our garlic toast as well as our lasagna, both in the oven on, well, 405 for whatever reason. I guess I hit it again. But yeah, that'll be fine. So here is the final product, lasagna fresh out of the oven. Y'all look at that. Ugh, cannot wait to dig in. Caesar salad is done. What are you doing back there? You can't trust people. Caesar salad done. Garlic bread is finished, still in the oven. We are about to sit down and eat. And as usual, I will let Wallace give you his review of this evening's meal. So I'll pick y'all back up once we're at the table. All right, Wallace. So you have gotten to take a couple of bites. And yes, we are eating on paper plates. I've been working hard all day. I ain't doing no more dishes. So what do you think?
Awesome. That cheese pull, that texture, look at that. Just goodness, babe, you knocked it out the park again. Delicious. The layers, the meat, just perfect.
Well, thank you very much. Well, y'all heard it here. Cheers. Well, you guys know this is it for today's Vlogmas video. I am wore out and I still need to go upstairs to my office and edit a video for y'all to get tonight. And it's already 7 o'clock, but you're getting a video tonight. No doubt about it. Definitely getting a video tonight. So I hope you guys, or not I hope you guys enjoyed this. And let me know if you're gonna try the lasagna recipe and if you're gonna make any changes, add anything. Let me know in the comments because I like that kind of stuff because these recipes are not recipes. This is just how I put it together. But y'all know the drill. I love you guys to bits and pieces.
Boy, it's delicious.
Love one another and always be kind, but don't forget to live your life, LYFE. Love yourself first explicitly. And I'll see y'all in the next one after I check these text messages. Bye.